what are you doing right now?
About to light the biggest bonfire ever since we've hit 1 million subscribers.
What the heck is that? Ah.
Um,
Must be the wind. Can you take the camera?
Yeah, sure. Just be quick about it.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, Jaden.
Yes.
Go take your whiz. Be safe. So it's been like 5 minutes and he hasn't come back. Jaden! Jaden, do you need help? Are you passing a kidney stone? Jaden? No! 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 If you're watching this, I'm dead. Or famous. Or famous for being dead. Okay. It's recording. Go ahead.
it's recording?
Yeah.
All right. What you just saw, that's what I do to people I don't like. Why would you start a fire? 85% of forest fires are caused by you humans. Didn't know that, did you? These things are caused by things such as cigarettes, campfires,
Matches.
lighters.
Don't forget the matches.
Oh, right.
There's also like faulty generators, down power lines, you know.
The greenhouse gases that you guys let off into the atmosphere, it traps heat. And it keeps these dry seasons a lot worse. The smoke caused from your forest fires create problems in the heart and the lungs for both infants and the elderly.
Mr. Sasquatch, I mean, you talk all this about humans starting forest fires, but how can we stop them?
It's very simple, and I don't understand how you humans don't get it. You can easily just start by putting out campfires. You can also stomp on your cigarettes or cigars. See, all these problems, we need somebody to represent nature, which is why I, Sasquatch, am running for the Senate. We need people to stand up for nature and to put a stop to all these problems that's not only affecting my life and other animals, but it's also affecting you humans in the long run. Be the solution, not the problem. It's not hard. It's just common sense.
Can I go home now?
Have you learned a lesson?
Yeah.
You ever gonna come out here again for your 1 million subscribers?
No.
Get out. I don't want to ever see you again.
Good morning. It is December 25th, 2030. Today's weather forecast calls for temperatures in the low 40s, the lowest it has been in over 3 months. No snowfall is expected, however, there is a 30% chance of rain. Now for our national headlines. Wildfires in Canada continue to spread south, and they are expected to cross the U.S. border within the next few days. So far, more than 100,000 people have been directly affected by evacuations and property damage. The increased temperatures have caused a record low snowpack across the U.S., and drought is expected to set in as early as June of 2031. This will directly affect food production throughout the world.
Earth is a vibrant, dynamic planet that serves the cradle of life in our solar system. As the third planet from the Sun, it boasts a diverse array of environments, ranging from vast oceans and towering mountains to sprawling forests and arid deserts. Earth's atmosphere is rich in oxygen and other gases, not only sustains life, but also helps regulate temperature and weather patterns. Its intricate systems of water, air, and land interact to create a delicate balance that supports an abundance of flora and fauna. However, this delicate balance is now under threat due to
climate change.
Hello, I am Brady Ryan, and today I'll be talking about a very serious topic, climate change. Human activities, particularly in burning of fossil fuels and deforestation, which have caused an increase in greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases have been trapping heat in the atmosphere and disturbing the Earth's natural systems. As a result, we are witnessing high rising temperatures, melting ice caps, and more extreme weather events, all which pose serious threats both to our environment and human societies. If we do not take urgent action, the very ecosystems that we live in that make Earth habitable could be irreversibly damaged, altering life as we know it. But you're probably thinking to yourself, what can I do to help? Reduce fossil fuel use. Use renewable energy sources like solar and wind instead of coal, oil, and gas. Adopt a sustainable transportation like walking, carpooling, or even biking, which can help lower emissions. Reduce waste. Recycle, compost, and minimize single-use plastics to lower pollution. Make sure to also wash your hands after picking up gross stuff. Support reforestation. Plant trees and protect forests to absorb carbon dioxide. Earth is a remarkable planet, rich in life and natural beauty, but it's facing an urgent crisis due to climate change. The rising temperature, extreme weather, and environmental destruction threatens the balance and sustains all living things. However, by taking action, reducing fossil fuel use, conserving energy, adopting sustainable habits, and supporting climate-friendly policies, we can help protect our planet for future generations. The responsibility to safeguard Earth rests in our hands, and every effort, no matter how small, makes a difference. Now is the time to act, ensure a healthier, more sustainable future for all. And I hope you'll make the decision of helping our Earth.
Did you know that this is where plastic usually ends up? In fact, Americans are estimated to waste over 44 million metric tons of plastic annually in the US. Globally, 350 million tons of plastic gets wasted a year, and only 9% of it usually gets recycled.
So why is it so important to recycle? Well, to put it in perspective, about 60 million water bottles end up in landfills every year, greatly increasing the land, air, and water pollution. Pollution hurts our environment, the animals that live there, and even us. Bigger plastics break down into what is called microplastics. Animals in the seas ingest these microplastics, which can ultimately make their ways into our bodies when we consume them. Scientists have associated microplastics with metabolic disorders, development disorders, reproductive disorders, and even some types of cancer. What can we do with this crisis that is plaguing our world? How do we reduce, reuse, and recycle?
take into consideration how much plastic you're really wasting. Start weaning yourself off of single-use plastics like plastic bags, straws, coffee cups, and single-use plastic cutlery. Single-use plastics account for 40% of plastic waste. Reducing single-use plastics will greatly benefit the planet. Another way to reduce plastics is by buying items in bulk. This is so you can waste less plastic packaging and save more money. Fast fashion has always been a big pollution problem with brands like Zara, Shein, and many others. To prevent overconsumption, we should do our best to sell old clothing to thrift stores or buy it from there. One of the best ways to reduce plastic waste is to start recycling. This isn't just plastic, but can be cardboard, cans, paper, glass, and metals such as aluminum.
If we don't reduce, reuse, and recycle, there will be more plastic than fish in our oceans. So recycle for a better tomorrow.
Think about your average school day. You wake up, go to school, go to class. Then there is a nice break for lunch. You eat some of your food, then throw the rest away. According to Idaho Education News, 30% of all Idaho school districts waste $6.6 million in a single school year. Offer Not Serve is a program that allows students to have a choice in what they decide to eat. This can prevent food waste in Idaho by saving other foods that are not being eaten. According to Recycle Track Systems, the greenhouse gas emissions of the production of wasted food in the United States is the equivalent of 37 million cars. Here are some things you can do to prevent food waste in your school. See if your school is willing to set up a leftovers bin. When you put food that you do not eat in a leftovers bin, then someone who is hungry can eat it instead. Another tip to reduce food waste is to take extra food to your local food pantry. They will distribute the food to those who need it.
Hi, my name is Tom Bella. I am the head custodian at Magic Valley High School in Twin Falls, Idaho. I believe the school system contributes quite a bit to the food waste. I believe that the way the school makes a shareholder is because the schools are mandated to give kids a certain amount of food, and it doesn't matter whether the kid will eat it or not. They have to receive the food, and then the kid will decline to eat it, so we just end up throwing a lot of food away. So every day when the trash cans get full of food, I tie it up, pick it up, and then I take it outside to our dumpster. And every day it's 7 bags, about 50 pounds of trash in there. The dumpster is usually pretty full at the end of the day, full of wasted food.
The final tip that we have for you is to throw your food scraps into a compost. When you do this, you can help out the environment by letting the food decompose. These are not all the things you can do to stop food waste. We encourage you to find out on your own how you can personally help out the environment by wasting less food.
As threats such as global warming, deforestation, and pollution continue to harm our planet's welfare, it might seem like all hope is lost, that repairing the Earth is an insurmountable task, and there's simply nothing we can do that will make things any better. But everything in the world starts small. The planets we now know were first grains of dust floating in space. The biggest buildings began as bricks, and the tallest trees started as seeds. When the world's on fire, sometimes we just need to tend to our gardens. I mean that quite literally. By starting a home garden, you can step towards a better future for our planet. I would like to show you the many ways gardening helps our planet. And to do that, I'm going to bring in someone who's an expert in the field.
My name is Julie Bokenkamp, and I'm the garden director at the Kleiner Park Community Garden. I've been doing that since 2014. So I started gardening as a child. We were a family who gardened, a neighborhood that gardened. So I've been gardening for most of my life.
To avoid using pesticides, Julie uses alternatives, such as
we rotate crops, we use different mulches, we use companion planting. We do not use pesticides.
Not only is this healthier for the environment, but it is healthier for the people who eat the produce as well.
We like our children to be able to grab something off the vine and put it straight to their mouth if they wanted to do that.
By starting a home garden, you can provide delicious produce, not only for your own family, but for many who are less fortunate, by donating the excess to local food banks.
We share the produce with our families, and then remaining produce goes to local food banks. We have shared anywhere between 6,000 pounds and 9,000 pounds each year. Food banks don't have access to fresh produce. They receive produce, oftentimes days, years old, from various grocery stores, but fresh produce is hard to come by.
If everyone had their own garden, over-farming would be a thing of the past. Water would no longer be wasted on huge rolling fields of corn. Hunger would be eradicated. Pesticides and GMOs would never have to be used, which would finally allow the ecosystem to repair itself after decades of being bombarded by poison. We would be so much closer to repairing the planet and growing a hope-filled future. All we need to do is plant the seeds.